The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Tohono O'odham Nation, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 34044. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks on the passenger and driver's side frame rail. On the face of the bumper, you'll find dual air horns on the passenger and driver's side. Moving over to the driver's side face of the front bumper, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up onto the top of the bumper extension is where you'll find a tubbed storage location with a swivel front discharge. Moving up onto the cab, on the outer edges, you'll find the marker clearance light. Just inside of that location on the face, you'll find the headlight structure housing a low and high beam headlight. High beam will be on the inside. Directly above that, you'll find your turn indicator. And on the inside of that location, you'll find an emergency warning light. As we move up to the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across a seamless one-piece windshield, and on the outer edge you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror controlled from within inside the cab. You'll also find at the brow of the apparatus 5 clearance lights, and then as we move all the way up to the roof is where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, starting under the front bumper with the 2 open-ended tow hooks. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find the air horns, passenger and driver side. As we move all the way over to the driver's side, you'll find your PA speaker electronic siren module. Let's move up onto the bumper extension where you'll find a tubbed storage location with a swivel discharge in the front. Let's take a look at the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Once again, the high beam is the beam on the inside. And as we move up further, you'll find your turn indicator marker light and a forward-facing emergency warning light. Let's move from this location up to the very top section of the windshield where you'll find 3 windshield wipers across that seamless one-piece windshield, and then all the way at the very top, the brow and emergency warning light. Those are the 5 clearance lights at the brow area. As we move to the side of the bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Just behind that, you'll find the drain location for your front bumper load. Once again, moving around to the side-facing emergency warning light. Let's go ahead and take a look at the full side from the driver's perspective, and then we'll focus in now on the cab section on the driver's side. First, starting at the axle area where you'll find a sight gauge. Moving now to the door area where you'll find 2 perimeter lighting lights. As we move forward to that location to the A-pillar, it's where you'll find that clearance or marker light. And then as we move to the grab handles, you'll find it's easily accessible with a gloved hand, and they are also keyed. Just right to the right-hand side of that entry point is where you'll find the grab handle for gaining access in and out of the cab. And then you'll also find, when plugged into shore power, it is an auto eject plug, and that will indicate and illuminate when you're plugged into shore power the battery charging system. As we move up to the mirrors, you'll find flat and convex mirrors. Take a close-up here, Goodyear tires, G291s, Alcoa wheels, and then the sight gauge in the very center. Keyed, easily accessible gloved hand access for the door latch, grab handles, and then we'll take a look now at the shoreline inlet. Once again, this is an auto eject plug, indicating when the ignition switch is turned on and started, the plug will eject. It is a 20 amp. As we move around to the side, you'll find your mirrors flat and convexed. And now let's take a general view here of the side midsection of your bumper. We'll start with first the step on your left-hand side. Just above that, you'll find a lift and turn latch, which will gain access into a storage location on the walkway area. There are also walk lights along the area on the very back of the cab wall. As we move inside, this is that location I just previously mentioned with storage location, lift and turn latch. And as we move now to the midsection where the pump panel is located, we'll first start here with 2 speed lays, an upper and a lower section. Moving around to the driver's side panel, Let's first start at the very top section with a lift and turn latch, which will gain you access behind the pump panel. As we move downward from this location into the next section, you'll find two 2.5-inch discharges. You'll also find this warning label indicating that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment and only after they received proper training. Just beneath the two 2.5s, you'll find a warning label here regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. The American flag Eagle Pierce logo at your large diameter pump intake. As we move to the back, we have an additional placard here regarding your pump. And then as we move down, you'll find your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. It is a female coupling. And then as we move down to the very bottom, we'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's take a look at some close-ups here. This is the number 1 and number 3 2.5-inch discharge. Also the warning label here regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment. Moving further to the right, you'll find a minimum operation maintenance placard. And then as we move just down from that location, you'll find your pump drain and also your manual pump shift. To the left, this is the driver's side auxiliary inlet. At the very bottom, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Moving further to the right, once again, pump drain. And then just beneath the pump drain is the manual pump shift. You'll also find this placard, Watrous, the 1,500 GPM pump, and also your pump model. You'll find 4 fold-down steps for gaining access to go aloft and handrails. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the side of the vehicle. We'll identify a few things. We have the compartment doors in the open position. As we look inside the roll-up compartment door, you'll find LED lighting on both sides. In addition, adjustable shelves and a track system. And at the very top section, you'll find in some of the compartments a ventilation area. Let's move just in front of the rear axle where we'll find 2 locations for an SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps. You'll also find a combination door exposing the DEF blue cap. And then as we move to the rear section, 2 SCBA bottle storage locations, retaining straps, and the silver ultra low sulfur diesel. Let's move from this location around to the rear of the apparatus. Let's first start just under the rear tailboard where we'll find 2 clearance lights located directly under the rear door. You'll also find your DOT lights, emergency, brake, turn, and reverse lights. Moving up from that, at the very top, you'll find a 360-degree emergency warning light. And then moving all the way down just where the step area is, we'll find some warning labels here. We'll go over those in a moment. You'll also find fold-down steps for, once again, going aloft to the top of the hose bed area, and a 2.5-inch discharge at the very top section. As we move all the way to the very far right, you'll find your ladder storage locations behind the D handle. All the way again at the very top is where you'll find a scene light. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, fold-down steps. And then as we move from this location upward, we're going to find those warning labels. Always face the vehicle when climbing on it. Don't ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. And a pressure hazard warning. Up to the top, the 360-degree emergency warning light. And then also imaged here at the very top is your rear scene lights. Let's move from this location to the far right-hand side. 360-degree light. At the very top, you'll find your scene light. And then let's move to the rear section. D handle gains access into the pan door. This is where your ladder storage is. We'll first start with a 24-foot extension and a 14 roof. Those are both nestled together. As we move upward in this area of the ladder storage, you'll find long tool handled storage. And then just to the right of that, you'll find your 10-foot folding attic ladder. We'll go ahead and move now up to the very top section of your apparatus, and we'll take a look at the hose storage location for your hose bed. First starting, there are 2 hose dividers located in this area. At the very front dunnage area, you'll find the top fill location for your water tank on the left and a foam fill location on your right. Warning regarding foam fill: do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure.
Let's go ahead and move further forward into the same dunnage area where you'll find storage location and also a work light. And at the very front section is where you'll find the large diameter master stream device located here in the center of this image. Just a quick look, we'll take a look backwards at the hose bed area. We're now on the passenger side of the vehicle. 3 roll-up doors on this side, same configuration. Bottle storage location in front of and rear of the axle. There are 3 in this spot, retaining straps, and also 3 in the forward axle area. I would like to point out this warning label, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious where you park your vehicle, especially during regen operations. As we move forward to the midsection, you'll find an additional lift D handle will gain access to the pan door behind the pump panel. You'll also find your cab tilt module. Moving downward, we'll find a 2.5-inch passenger side discharge. And then moving all the way down to the far left, an additional pan door here. This is going to be directly in location where your relief valve is located. American flag, Eagle, and Pierce logo cap. This is going to be your large diameter pump intake. And then just to the right, this is your green passenger side large diameter discharge. Just underneath that, you'll find a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure, and then all of our color-coded labeled discharge drains. Let's take a look at the cab lift. We have instructions here to raise the cab, and then also instructions to lower the cab. We do have some warning information and danger information. Also, be cautious when you do lift your cab. Make sure all items are secure within inside the cab. This is the passenger side 2.5 large diameter inlet, and then also large diameter discharge. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the pan door here. Gains access behind the pump panel. This will be your foam drain. And then just beneath that, this is your relief valve, and that is the set screw for setting the actual PSI of your relief valve. Let's move down to the very bottom where we'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move toward the cab area, this is the walk-through space. Same configuration. Lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space here for storage. We're now moving toward the cab section. Same configuration again on this side as it is on the driver's side. Let's go ahead and move now to the driver's position door, and we'll start first at the door panel area, identifying all of our safety and warning information. You'll also find this yellow placard affixed to the door panel. This is manufactured by Pierce for your department, indicating the manufacture date, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, all of the capacities for the component, fluid capacity, and also fluid capacity type. As we move just inside the door area at the very top section is where you'll find the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating of your vehicle. In the step area, you'll find the fill location for an air inlet. As we move inside the cab, your seat is in air ride comfort controls. You do have an air ride switch for inflate and deflate. To the far right, a forward or back settings. And then to the right, a forward and back on the back section of the seat. As we look to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find the master battery switch. It is the silver switch. You'll also find the engine, transmission, ABS, J1939 diagnostic port. And then we'll find all of our diagnostic information, ABS diagnostics, engine diagnostics, and then also our DPF regen switch and DPF regen inhibit switch. As we move to the steering column, you'll find your turn indicator. Just beneath that, you'll find a tilt or telescope. And then to the rear section on the column, you'll find your 4-way flashers or hazard lights. As we move to the left side of the dash area, you'll find the start switch and also ignition switch. Just to the right of that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master, engage or disengage all emergency lights. Next to it is the headlight switch, and then right next to that is a panel switch allowing you to brighten or dim lights within the dash area. On the right knee, you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions here from road to pump and also from pump to road. You do need 2 green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump, before exiting the cab for pump operations. To the right, you'll find your mirror control for the main mirror and also convex mirror. As we move to the dash itself, you'll find your transmission, oil pressure, def level, water temperature on the left, and on the right you'll find front and rear air, fuel, and also the volts. Located in the center, tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information does display above and below the speedometer. When the truck is initially engaged, you will find all of your lights should illuminate, indicating their indicator tally light. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find your siren control and PA speaker system. Just down and slightly to the right, you'll find your windshield wiper control, push for fluid. We do have a panel rocker switch. We'll go over that also. And then as we move just to the right, you'll see that windshield wiper, push for fluid, and also 3 settings for windshield wiper controls. Let's move back to the switch panel. These are all rocker switches. As we move to the left, you have an engine brake on and off switch, a settings for that engine brake for low, medium, and high, a siren or horn selector, air horn or electronic horn, mirror heat, and load manager. As we move just to the right and downward, you'll find your yellow diamond, which is your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release, and also your digital readout for your Allison push button transmission. Moving up to the right is your climate control for heat and defrost air conditioning, also an indication for caution regarding the use of retarder with slippery surfaces. Overhead, we have a set of switches on the far left-hand side. These are your emergency warning lights, emergency master roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. If any of these switches have been engaged, the light in the switch will illuminate, indicating that it is on. Let's move further to the right on the same plane, where you'll find your seatbelt information module, red indicating someone's in the seat and not belted, green they're in the seat and belted. You'll also find a red light in the very center of the cab. If it's flashing, it's indicating do not move your apparatus. You have a compartment door or door ajar. Push on and off white or red light lenses overhead of each position. As we look to the rear section of the cab, you'll find 2 nestled center close SCBA seats and then 2 rear facing outward bound SCBA seats. Let's go ahead and move now to the rear section of the engine, where you'll find a lift and turn at the rear section of the doghouse. This is going to be your daily checks for oil and transmission. Quick view here from the rear section looking forward, and then a few more images here of the seats. I would like to point out directly behind the officer seat, you will find when plugged into shore power, this outlet is active, and what is currently plugged in is your battery charger. This will maintain your batteries when plugged into shore power. As we move around now, you'll find on the crew cab area on the hinge side, red grab handles for gaining access in and out of the cab. And now we'll move to the officer area affixed to the door panel, all of our safety and warning information. Also on the A pillar, you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. And then as we move down to the floorboard area, you'll find your foot pedal for your siren. Just a general view here in the officer's area. It is also a SCBA fitted seat. As we move to the floorboard again, just under the rear section of the seat is where you'll find a storage location. And then just a couple of quick close-ups here of the A pillar indicating the fill location, and also at the floorboard level is going to be your siren. Let's go ahead and move overhead now, where you'll find the unit radio and speaker system. Also just left of the officer seat, you'll find your air horn push button on the center console, and then also a 12-volt USB style access point. Moving back overhead, you'll find the push on and off white or red lenses and your air conditioning unit. Congratulations on your new Pierce Fire apparatus. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact Hughes Fire. Congratulations.